Can we have a roll call, please?
Counselor Safavi?
Here.
Counselor Wheel?
Here.
Counselor Brown?
Here.
Counselor Gallagher?
Here.
Counselor Sheldon?
Here.
And Counselor Blum is absent.
Okay, all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, first up is audience participation. We have Mr. Holland. You're very welcome. If you want to state your name and address, please.
Indeed. Earl Holland, 3 Vista Road. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I had the opportunity to listen to the study session on the South Suburban debt requirement, and I just wanted to make a few comments, even though I think where you're all coming down is what I'm going to recommend and what I think that you should do. But I just want to say, for the record, that I do think taking no action at this time is the best course. Staff did a good job of noting all of the various capital projects and the new maintenance items that the city will need to fund in the future. But in addition to those that staff listed, there's also the item of open space, which is enumerated in the current master plan, and I suspect, I don't know, but I suspect it'll be enumerated in the next master plan. But no dollars are shown in the budget for anything really associated with that. Now, in the past, councils have, and I know when we put together the financial plan that did all of this, there wasn't anything put in the budget, but there was always a marker that councils talked about as like, hey, we need $5 million if something comes up, for purchase of open space property, or for acquisitions of trails, or for acquisition of conservation easements. And I know that that's still an important thing to our village, so even though it's not allocated, you know that it sits there. There also is no provision in there for the undergrounding utility lines, which you guys have talked about in the past. Now, whether this comes to pass as a priority project will be something that I think should also be and will be assessed during the next master plan process. But if it turns out that the citizens want to pursue that, that would be a huge, obviously, as we know, cost. And then speaking of the master plan, we don't know at this point whether some other capital projects might crop up through that process. We have no idea what our citizens are going to want. I have nothing in mind here. I'm just saying that until we get to the end of that process in the next 18 months or so, we won't know what else might be needed. Now, beyond these additional potential cost, cash needs, there are those unknowns, one of which Mayor Pro Tem Brown indicated, the impact of the Gallagher Amendment, which I think is significant, and then in addition, what could be economic setbacks. Right before I came here, I was in a board meeting of Denver Academy, and in fact, that was exactly what the discussion was, is what are the potential for a recession, what would that mean for the school, et cetera. It's something that's always sitting there. So while a voter approval of providing more flexibility would certainly be welcome, I think it's too early probably to put that proposal in front of the voters. We need to wait a few years to see what comes out of that master plan process, to see what comes out of the Quincy Farm master plan process, how the additional maintenance costs evolve, and how the city's finances are affected in the next couple of years by the economic changes that we may see. Before putting something in front of voters that is not well thought out and doesn't reflect a good estimate of these foreseeable but yet unknown factors that will become more known over the next couple, 3 years. Now, the other thing I just wanted to say as well is that, and I know, Councilor Sheldon, what you meant when you, and I think it was the right thing to ask about, we don't want to look like we're hiding, the city doesn't want to look like that, but we're not. The financial plan that was put in place, as I think you all know, did not contemplate doing anything with that South Suburban Fund, other than to continue to keep operating. We knew at some point in time there'll be questions, they would come up then, but the plan was put together to do exactly what we're doing right now. And what the city is doing right now is to continue to move forward next month and the next month after, exactly with the plan as it currently is. That's what the city is doing, is implementing the plan that was put in place. And then the other thing, which I'll help the city attorney out, it may not be worth much, but I can say with regard to allocation, you can't do anything with that money right now except spend it on parks and recreation. That's clear. I talked about that specifically with the city attorney's colleague, Linda Michaud. And the other questions are advisory questions. They're not really binding. Although the city is doing 2 of them as we speak, and will continue to probably keep doing them because they are parks and recreation. Now, the one thing that you can do is, and has been done, is you can continue to look to see about the allocation of costs and expenses are being properly allocated between parks and recreation and/or the regular funds, and that's a good thing to do. And then I'll just say as a comment, and the one thing, I think it's a great idea to go back and make sure that the funds were all allocated properly. I can tell you, I looked into that personally, and I can say from 2015 through the present, they absolutely have been, other than the $1.5 million debt forgiveness, which inured to the benefit of Parks and Recreation. What happened prior to 2015, I have no idea. But based on what I'd heard, I think it was done fairly reasonably. So anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Holland. Anyone else wish to speak? Nobody else has signed up, but now's the time. Going, gone. All right, reports from city boards, commissions, or committees. Any reports? Hearing none, move to consent agenda. Does anybody wish to remove anything from the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
You have a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Consent agenda items 6A through C are approved. Unfinished business, item 8A, which is a second reading of Council Bill 10, Series 2019, for an ordinance adopting a budget and levying property taxes. Ms. Sager, will you be presenting?
Yes. Good evening, Mayor, members of City Council. Staff is pleased to present the proposed 2020 budget for second and final reading tonight. There's been one change to the budget since the first reading and public hearing that was held on November 19th. Arapahoe County provided the city's final assessed property value, which decreased the general fund property tax revenue by $474 and the Parks and Recreation property tax revenue by $481. The proposed 2020 budget is a balanced budget with revenues and expenditures totaling $7,421,244, with an ending fund balance projected at $9,303,273. There were not any changes made to the proposed capital fund since first reading. The total expenditures in the capital fund would be $1,383,850, and the ending fund balance is projected to be $4,201,107. Aside from the slight decrease in property taxes, there were no changes in the Parks and Recreation Fund since first reading. The proposed operating expenditures for 2020 total $3,425,221, and the fund balance is projected to be $776,166. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have at this time.
Sure. Councilor Sheldon, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
No questions.
Councilor Brown?
No questions.
No question. I have a question just following up on Mr. Holland's comment too about allocation. I have from the Fund 30, which is the Parks Fund, where the new mill levy, well, actually about 2.7 million, right, will be going into that next year. About, and is that right? To the Fund 30?
Yes.
Yeah. And that'll be the full South Suburban, basically, what was voted on, finally. And it's really an additional 1 million or so to what
Correct.
had been going on that was ours and we've been using to along the way. So I wanted, from that fund, my question is, do we know what the final number about is for Mead Park? Do you know?
The total number or just the number from that fund?
No, the total number for Mead Park construction contract that was led and what we estimate. And I'm not asking for exact, just a round number.
It was right at 3.3 million.
Okay.
I think we're real close to that still.
That's what I was thinking too. So, and as I read it, we're going to be repaying the COPs we had out of the Fund 30 and out of the general fund. And I calculate that we're paying 55% out of Fund 30 approximately, and about 45% out of the general fund.
Correct.
And actually, the increase in the Mead Park actually helps that number, doesn't it? Because we're paying more than we thought we would for the open space in the park. So that's just a comment. That's not a question. But I understand. So just so everybody understands, we had 55-45 distribution for payment of COPs, and that would include all of Mead Park, of course, half of Public Works,
Yes,
and then a part of City Hall as well.
correct.
That's my questions. Any other questions at all before? Councilor Sheldon?
No question. I was going to make a motion.
Okay, that'll be a motion. I'll entertain it.
I move to approve Council Bill 10, Series 2019, a bill for an ordinance adopting a budget and levying property taxes for the city of Cherry Hills Village, Colorado, for fiscal year 2020 on second and final reading.
Second.
A motion and second. Any discussion? I would have one discussion. I want to thank Ms. Sager for including the allocation in the end of the budget materials. Thank you very much.
No problem.
I appreciate that. And again, it goes to Councilor Holan's point about understanding the allocation, the proper allocation, and that we're using the parks and recreation open space money for those purposes. All right, we have a motion and second. Any other discussion? No. Discussion. We'll take a roll call, please.
Counselor Safavi?
Yes, approved.
Counselor Wheel?
Yes.
Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Counselor Gallagher?
Yes.
Counselor Sheldon?
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on to, that passes unanimously. We'll move to agenda item 8. I.
I move to approve, I'm sorry, Mayor, did we?
Do you have anything to present, Mrs. Sager? or-
No, I presented it all together.
Okay, good.
I move to approve Council Bill 11, Series 2019, a bill for an ordinance of the City of Cherry Hills Village, Colorado, authorizing appropriations for fiscal year 2020 on second and final reading.
Second.
A motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, we have a roll call, please.
Counselor Wheel?
Yes.
Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Counselor Gallagher? Yes. Counselor Sheldon?
Yes.
Counselor Safavi?
Yes.
Okay, that passes unanimously as well. That ends the unfinished business. For new business, we're going to move into a meeting of the Charleau Park Third Filing in General, the District Board. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. So, do I need to suspend or go out of the council session now?
You can recess as council and convene as the DID board.
Okay, we will recess council effective 6:43. Recess briefly council to the session of the regular council meeting and proceed into the board meeting for the Charleau Park Third Filing General Improvement District. Could we have a call to order, please?
Board Member Safavi?
Yes.
Board Member Wheel?
Yes.
Board Member Brown?
Yes.
Chair Stewart?
Yes.
Board Member Sheldon?
Yes.
And Board Member Blum is absent.
What about Board Member Gallagher?
Board Member Gallagher?
Yes.
Okay, we have item 12, consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, voice vote.
Aye.
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 Unfinished business. We are seeking now by voice vote to adopt Resolution 7 and Resolution 8. Do I have can I entertain a motion?
Oh, there's no discussion, just a motion, okay. I move to approve Resolution 7, Series 2019, a resolution of the Cherry Hills Village Charleau Park Third Filing General Improvement District Board of Directors adopting the 2019 budget and appropriating funds for fiscal year 2019.
Motion and second. Is there any discussion at all, or Ms. Kramer, Ms. Sager,
Mayor.
anything you'd like?
Just a quick note.
Yep.
I'm pleased to report, for those who don't know, many, if not all, the lines are down. Poles are still up. Lines are down, though, in Charleau Park GID.
Yep. If there's no other comments from staff or council, we have a motion and second. We need just a voice vote on this one. Did you move for both 14A and B, or just?
No, I just did.
Just A. Okay, this is a 14A. This is a vote on 14A. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That passes unanimously. Can I have
Now,
now.
I move to approve Resolution 8, Series 2019, a resolution of the Cherry Hills Village, Charlie Park, Third Filing General Improvement District Board of Directors, adopting the 2020 budget, setting the mill levy, and appropriating funds for fiscal year 2020.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That passes unanimously as well. If there's no other business to bring before the board, we will adjourn the meeting of the Charlie Park Third Filing District Board at 6:46. And now proceed back into the session of the regular session of the City Council for December 11th. Reports. I have a brief report about some things. On November 20th, I attended a memorial for our Judge Richard Maich, who was a former citizen of Cherry Hills Village and a distinguished judge on the federal bench, and it was very well attended by probably all of the attorneys and all the judges from the 10th Circuit and all the judges from the federal bench. He has a lot of admirers, and certainly all the luminary from the Denver bench, from the Denver bar. It was a very nice ceremony. On November 23rd, I participated in the Habitat for Humanity Mayor's Build Day. We mayors from Sheridan, Lone Tree, Superior, and Denver Mayor Hancock was there too. We built we worked on we insulated an entire house out on near Federal and Yale, in that area. Habitat for Humanity has about 20 homes being built there now. And it was a great event, and I think it was the first ever, and I think everybody wants to do a reprise next year. December 5th, we had the holiday event at the Buell Mansion for volunteers of Cherry Hills Village, past and present. On the December 6th, the CML had a policy committee meeting that I attended, and they were looking forward to the General Assembly's agenda in next year, and a couple things came up that are interest to, I guess, our citizens, much as not, but several are. One is the transportation in the regional transportation district. So there is because of the loss of the statewide initiative for transportation funding, municipalities are kind of scrambling to see what they can do, since the votes that seem to go statewide seem to lose. That doesn't help municipalities who are wanting to rebuild their highways and bridges and improve their transportation. So what's happening is the Metro Mayor's Caucus and others are taking on, are saying we'd like to start with regional transportation districts, and they some exist as chairman. Well, the RTD is one, but that was created by a vote of the citizens. What the Metro Mayor's Caucus and municipalities in the metro area want to do is get legislation passed by the General Assembly that allow the municipalities to adopt by resolution these transportation districts, and then sort them out and decide what they want to do, and then go to the voters for approval for spending for tax increases. It's controversial within the CML because the feeling is that if the regionals districts, particularly in the metro area, do it themselves, then the hope for statewide solutions are going to go away, because if the metro area solves its own solutions, no one's going to vote for solutions that help out the rural Colorado. So CML's taken a neutral position on it because it divides their membership. Certainly the Metro Mayor's Caucus is fully behind it. So we'll see how it all works out. But it's something to watch, and it's certainly, the next step and the answer to funding transportation improvements and fixing the highways. There's also discussion last year. I think we talked about how there was legislation last year that talked about requiring comprehensive plans to include water conservation issues, and that's going to come up again. But apparently, CML is saying that's fine as long as you don't make it mandatory and don't require cities to hire a water engineer or provide any specific type of information in their comprehensive plans. As long as it's just, we encourage you to do so, that would be great. So that's the position of CML on that one. And finally, it does affect us with everybody with children. Vaping is going to come up. It's going to be probably a big issue next year in the General Assembly. And some municipalities have already adopted plans. I think Greenwood Village has some prohibiting sales, of vaping and nicotine in certain areas. This is going to be, what's coming forward is a General Assembly statewide issue. And right now, what they're saying is you have to be 21 to purchase nicotine. It's going to change. Some municipalities have a minimum age for selling. I think the statewide legislation would eliminate the minimum age for selling. By contrast, it would also affect how close you could sell nicotine and vaping to schools. So that'll be much discussed if they change. I think it's raising the age now. I think it's 18 now for cigarettes, so raise it to 21 statewide. Today I had lunch with the mayors, 2 new mayors, George Lance from Greenwood Village was there, and also the new mayor in Littleton, Jerry Valdez. Littleton elects theirs, the council elects theirs in Littleton, and he was just elected, I think, at the last meeting in Littleton. On December 7th, I went to a very entertaining concert at Arvada High School, the Colorado Chorale, is that right? Yeah. Chord Company, that's right. It was great, and we have real talent on our council. So I always want to give a shout out to Councilor Wheel. And this Friday we have the Cherry Hills Village holiday lighting. Right? Is that at 5? What are the hours? 5 to
6 to 8.
6 to 8. And that's my report.
No report.
No report.
No report.
Couple of quick items. I had a to-do from an HOA meeting on small cell sites, and things are slowly starting to move. Made some contacts to Zayo, and they're putting in a new small cell site on University, just south of, a couple of lots south of St. Mary's Academy. So things are starting to happen, which is good. That tower is Sprint, at the moment, Sprint only, but can accommodate one other carrier should one decide to locate there. And I'm really impressed. I mean, they've been working hard on the medians on Bellevue, which is, near where I'm at, and I think that's great stuff. So that's terrific. And I think that's about all I have. Oh, one other thing, sorry, Afshin. We finally, the HOA at Cherry Hills Farm is going to present next time for the security shelter, years and years in the making, so that should be, we'll look forward to that.
So no reports, but I do have a request here. I managed to actually add all the council meetings to my calendar for next year, and I'm glad to say that I'm going to be missing only one, which is good. But I think I'd like make a request that can we go ahead? I know we're planning to have several town hall meetings to discuss the master plan for next year, and I really appreciate it if we can go ahead and narrow down some dates, at least the weeks. For next year, so we can put those on our calendar. Those are important events that we need to make sure we can all attend. So if you can, if the city manager can come up with some dates so we can check in the next couple of weeks, that would be great.
Yeah, we'll do that. We still have to hire a contractor first and then establish the dates. But soon as those are identified, they'll be going to planning and zoning as well as city council, and we'll put those out as soon as possible.
Okay, so at this point, we can't put any events placeholders and then let the contractor know that this is what we wish. We have to sort of wait for him or her, right? Okay.
Any other business? Wait, we need reports from city manager.
Yes, Mayor and City Council. I just wanted to, first of all, recognize that we had a artist reception last week, which was well attended, and thank Susan Cooper for her art that's now displayed in City Hall. It looks fabulous. And also thank the Art Commission and city staff who helped pull that together. It was a real nice event. Just to remind residents, anybody who wants to comment on the FAA Environmental Assessment Report, it's out there. Any comments are due Friday, December 20th, right before Christmas. In addition to that, tonight we had planned to go live streaming with the city council on our YouTube site. We had some technical difficulties, so we'll do that at the next meeting. In the meantime, it will be, and it was recorded tonight, and we'll put that on our website so that people can actually view it and download it. And then the next meeting will hopefully be live streamed, and we'll get through those technical difficulties. But those were almost anticipated throughout the process.
Hey, Jim, excuse me real quick.
Yes.
Will those include study sessions as well?
No, I don't believe we were planning to do study sessions as part of that.
Okay, thanks.
Unless
It's
directed
actually,
other-
it's actually the pleasure of council. I mean, different councils do it different ways. You can videotape study sessions or not.
Yeah.
It's probably something we ought to think about as it goes forward. You might want to take a look at it and see how it goes. Yeah.
The cost that was provided did not anticipate that additional hour, so there could be additional costs if council decided they want to do that. And as a reminder, we still have a toy drive going on also until December 20th. If you want to bring an unwrapped toy and drop it off in City Hall in the bin, that would be fantastic. And then as a reminder, we will be closed here at City Hall on December 24th and 25th. That's my report.
Further reports? Chief? Sager? Chris?
I'll make a quick statement. I will be working on the 24th, so if any questions come, half the day anyway, trying to catch up. We continue to stay busy. There's a little something from our firm on your dais at your seats to express our appreciation for your business. It's a great pleasure to work with you and your staff, and I wish you all a happy holiday, if we don't talk.
I'm going to come up with something just to ask you.
Go right ahead. That sounds great.
All right. Thank you very much. Unless there's more business from anybody, motion to adjourn?
Second.
We are adjourned at 6:57. We'll get there, Michael.